better than turkey on Thanksgiving.
Lucas, did you know I have 3 favorite teams?
Oh, Yarborough.
I have 3 favorite teams every single week, Luke Berry. Number 1, obviously, it's the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears every single week. Number 2, it is who is playing the Green Bay Packers. So, yeah, Minnesota, you were on my list this week. You let us down.
Green Bay sucks! Green Bay sucks!
And number 3, Lucas Berry, my favorite team every single week is who's playing the Atlanta Falcons. What a great week to be a Chicago Bears fan in the South, watching the Falcons suck it up in the snow. Welcome into the Believe in Monsters podcast, your number 1 podcast for the Chicago Bears. Listen to us live each and every week. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us at BIM_pod on the Twitter machine. We're here to break down 37-17. Are the Bears building something? 5 home games in a row. Lucas Berry, how did you enjoy your Sunday?
Well, first off, Joe, you're making me laugh off the bat here because I swear you were going to say your third favorite team was the Crimson Tide.
No.
So when you said the Falcons, I was a little bit surprised.
I love watching them lose. I love watching them lose.
I know. I was just fully not ready for. I literally thought you were going to say Alabama, so I just wasn't ready for that. It made me chuckle. That was awesome, though. Yeah, I think the Bears are heading in a great direction, and I think that was on full display, 37-17. I think they pretty much dominated the Falcons. We'll dive into it. Chris, how was your Christmas, your New Year's? It's 2024 now.
It is
new Bears. New year, new Bears.
New year, new Bears. So my wife and I's motto for 2024 is no more in 2024. And it's just basically whatever you want it to be. No more excuses.
No more Bears. No more Bears.
No more beating our children. No more.
Whoa.
Being a Bears fan. No, I'm just kidding. No, basically it all started around no more shitty eating. Now we're just saying it for whatever. So it's going to lose its luster very quickly. But Christmas was fun. Kids got all kinds of crap, way too much. And New Year's was uneventful. Watched some amount of sports probably, and then played video games until midnight and kissed my wife and went to bed. But I was telling Joe before you jumped on, Lucas, I got promoted to national account manager.
Oh my goodness! Congratulations!
As of yesterday, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, fucking awesome.
So big news! Congratulations!
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Chi Bears, 1985.
Chi Bears, 1985. That is the last year the Bears won the Super Bowl. In case anybody did not know where that team came from, I know a lot of our listeners are probably too young to remember that Super Bowl. Namely, the 2 co-hosts that aren't me. But Lucas, how was your New Year's? Did you wrecked Salem? Didn't you? Did you get into something crazy, like a lot of
crazy
alcohol?
Oh well, yeah. I didn't do anything crazy.
Gotcha.
Went out in town for a little bit. Came back, played some video games, drank some Moscow Mules. It was a great night.
Nice. Love Moscow's.
Moscow Mules are awesome. So it was great.
I was wrecking those during COVID because
keeps the disease away.
You get diet ginger beer and some vodka. It's like a very low carb drink, and I was killing keto during COVID and killed a lot of Moscow Mules. Bought the cups and everything. It's legit.
Love them. And Joe Gaither, did the Bears bring you a happy New Year's with their victory over the Falcons?
Oh, shoot, yeah. We always are going to love beating the Falcons. I regrettably did not make it to midnight. I was asleep on the couch with the dog. But, yeah, it was a good day to enjoy. You know, what perfect aesthetic, Lucas. Beating the Falcons, not only, okay, great.
And the Panthers losing.
The Panthers losing, but just the aesthetic of football and the aesthetic of football in the snow in Chicago, and Justin Fields looking good. He drops the dime in the corner of the end zone for the first touchdown pass. It was a good weekend. It just felt good.
It did, top to bottom. And I feel like it's. I mean, the Cardinals game was a little bit dicey there in the second half, but I feel like the Bears have kind of felt like that for a little bit now. I mean, to your question earlier, are they building something? What are they doing here? I think they're getting pretty dang close, to be honest with you. The defense is really developing quickly. What do you think, Chris? Do you believe in this defense?
Yeah, I believe in the defense, but they haven't beat anybody yet. I mean, other than the Lions, which
All right, I do have to say the Falcons' defense is better than people give them credit for. So I was actually a little bit shocked they put up 37 on them. I didn't think they'd do that well versus Atlanta.
I don't know, man. It's kind of the whole catch-22 chicken egg thing where your offense is so shitty, your defense can't really help themselves but suck because they're on the field all the time. Like Taylor Heineke was like 10 of 30 or something like that. That is awful.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just think the Bears defense, though, is putting them in a good place on offense.
No, I agree.
From what you just said.
I agree.
Yeah, it seemed like a pretty complete football game in all three phases. Even our man Kerry Santos made a kick in the snow. It looked like a competent football team, and I haven't seen that too much this year. So that's very exciting.
How about tackle of the year from like Lucas Patrick or the ground? I have no idea who made
on that
play.
punt return.
On that missed field goal fucking return like Devin Hester style.
The Nathan Vasher.
Oh yeah, they nearly got kick six at the end of the half.
Yeah, dude, that was freaking brutal. And Lucas Patrick's is doing his best back pedal down the lane in basketball, trying to guard two people at the same time. And
I think he tripped up his ankles with his huge helmet.
Well, hey, man, that thing's awesome.
He's one I can't wait to see move on to a new team.
Dude, like, listen, man,
that holding call's a bad call.
I'm gonna go to bat for my boy Lucas Patrick because I love that dude's attitude. He is nasty.
He did.
He's nasty and untalented. He has not an ounce of strength and not an ounce of talent in him.
Yeah,
that's not true. Out in space, he will destroy cornerbacks.
Well, of course, he's 300 pounds on a 200 pounder.
Hey, you still got to hit him. You still got to hit that target, that tiny target. With that giant helmet, he's gonna be full speed ahead, like Rhino. I don't know, man. That was a funny play. I was just like watching it with my father-in-law, and I'm like, oh my god, this dude's gonna score. I'm like, this dude's in the end zone. I'm like, this is just the beginning of the end.
This typical Bears game.
Typical Bears game. We're gonna go into half just with some stupid shit happening, but luckily, Lucas Patrick saved the day. I think the guy actually might have tripped either over his own dude or over himself.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, he
didn't
score. It's all good. But
he can end up going back to Green Bay.
I don't know. I would say all the metrics would say since week 5, the Bears have had a pretty solid defense. So I think the sample size is big enough there for me to actually believe in these guys going forward and next year.
Yeah, I mean, and dude, Tyreek Stevenson, 2 picks, man. That guy.
Yes, 4 on the year.
Dude. Four on the year. Had the diving one against Flacco. That dude's playing out of his mind. And Dexter getting in on the sack party. Had a couple this week.
He's got 4 on the year.
And I think Pickens either got a sack or tipped that last pass. Or he did something.
Yeah. I think he had a nice pass rush there at the end. But now this defense is really playing well. The cornerbacks, obviously. Jalen got hurt. I don't know if we ever got an announcement on him. But him, Kyler Gordon, and Tyreek Stevenson have been awesome. And then the linebackers have really stepped up their game from where we began at because Edmonds was straight garbage. And Edwards has been solid all year, but Edmonds finally starts stepping up his play. Now both them guys are a sweet duo.
Yeah. Yeah, man, Jack Sanborn still has a place on this team.
Oh, awesome, yeah. No, and I saw a crazy stat today. I think it said TJ Edwards has like 147 combined tackles this year or something like that.
That's nuts.
That feels light. I feel like he has like 176.
All right. You guys know what else is? You might not know this. Do you guys know what his 40 time was?
like 4.78 or something like that. It was bad.
Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I heard it was not good. Slow.
I'm pretty sure it was 4.85, but he is the epitome of
I ran
hard
4.9 in high school.
hard over instincts because he has 3 picks this year as well.
I think I was at like, I don't remember if I broke 5 or not. I was fast enough for being as big as I was.
Lucas was a stud fullback, breaking what were you 391, 398?
398 pounds.
Are you saying
seconds?
Is that his height?
Seconds. No. 4.7, 4.72.
There you go. There you
It's
go.
not bad. Yeah, I was
Fastest
378 pounds and I ran a 4.72.
At 3'9". It's just a
3'9".
small bowling ball, mother.
It's like a
The
create a
trigger.
Madden character. But,
Dude, oh my god, that would be so funny. All right, so defense looks good. They have invested a lot into this defense, right? I mean, you've got
Got to invest more.
Gordon and Brisker, 2 second rounders. And then you have Stevenson and Dexter, 2 second rounders. You spent a lot of money on linebackers. You still have Eddie Jackson for some reason. That guy's
he's
terrible.
gone next year.
He's so bad. I don't know what you're gonna do back there, but shit, man. Even what's his name that they drafted last year in the 6th looks fine. So yeah, they got a lot of money into it. That you went out and got Sweat. So now you've got capital and dollars into this defense. So they should look good. They should be the better of the 2 units.
Man,
Yeah.
I still just want them to draft an edge rusher too. That's like the last defensive piece I want them to put in there. Is an early
I
edge
agree.
rusher.
I just I agree. This class isn't great for edge rushers, right? I mean,
No, it's not bad. I just think it's kind of like
well, it's top heavy, right? I mean, there's not a
yeah, I don't think there's a ton, but I guess what I'm trying to say is where the Bears will be picking with their own pick, they should be in a good range to get like the top or second guy. I think a lot of the guys in this class could be early contributors, but not necessarily like huge sack number guys. Like there's
depends
no
on what
like
you think Lati.
like
Like if you think Lati is going to stay healthy, my
I like
understanding,
Latu
he's
a lot,
electric.
and he stops the run very well. I guess there's just no highly touted prospect like a Nick Bosa or anything in this class, but just look
Shit,
at a
man,
solid.
your boy Rick Spielman seems very high on Dallas Turner. Like
He loves him.
Higher than Will Anderson high.
Which I think is fascinating. We don't even need to get into the names, but just do you guys agree that a pass rusher is probably
Just
like
what?
potentially an early need?
Yes, I do. Definitely agree. Whether it is an edge rusher or an interior lineman, you got to continue. You saw what 5 games ago, whatever. How many games in are we with Montez Sweat? Like you've seen what adding a
5.
quality piece.
Man, I even just
does.
I might even be going as far as they should definitely be in on signing Chris Jones this offseason.
Yeah, you sign or you bring in another quality piece, whether it's from free agency or you bring a young guy, and you've seen what he's done with Dexter Pickens already in development. Yeah, I think that it's a huge area where you could turn a position that we thought 8 months ago, about 8 months ago was a position of weakness, defensive line, into a position of strength.
There's a big defensive class. I mean, there's a big defensive line free agency class. So,
yeah.
I mean, shit, dude, it'd be hilarious if they went out and signed Chase Allen. Chase Allen? Is that his name?
Chase Young.
Allen's name. Thank you.
Young.
Fucking tight end for the Bears, damn it. Chase Allen. Jeez, little please.
I think it also bothers me that the Bears generally just don't draft edge rushers early that often. Like we got Leonard Floyd. It was just very I don't know, completely uninspiring when they did it. And then the rest of the dudes, I feel like they just always sign guys who are good edge rushers, but they never develop their own.
Wasn't that Raw? Wait, who was super high on Leonard Floyd? Wasn't it Raul? Wasn't
It's
Raul?
probably Raul. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I know he's high on Roquan, but I swear he was high on Leonard Floyd. I could be wrong.
He's high on everybody.
Hey. Raul doesn't do that. He's in the medical field.
Oh,
Not that kind of medical. Not the medicinal kind. Anyway, I would agree. I would invest another. Man, free agency is going to be so interesting because, like, you could do a lot with the capital you have that will address needs that we've been talking about a lot. So, to pair with, like, I'm going to say like a draft position and then a free agent, like you sign T. Higgins or you draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. or, or both. Fuck, I don't care. Do it both. Or like you sign Chase Young or you draft Dallas Turner or Latu or what's the kid's name from Penn State?
Chop Robinson.
Chop Robinson. That is a bear if I ever heard of him. Chop. That's a swim move, dude. You just chop their arms down. Get after
Chop.
it. Yeah. I think free agency is going to be fun. Now, on the opposite side of the ball,
different story.
It's, man, you asked going into this, Lucas, if I made my mind up yet about the quarterback, and I don't know. I feel like I'd be good with either direction. It was fun watching Fields light it up on Sunday.
Man, when he's on. It's like it just drives me crazy that we can't. You don't have to be amazing all the time, but your floor can't be as low as it is.
Right.
It's so frustrating to watch because, like, he's capable of it. You saw him throw, like, on-time throws this game, right? But then also, Chris, it always goes back to that question we always talk about. Like, is it Fields? Is it the offense? Is it Getsy? Like, just weird.
So our friend B. Shulk said something interesting on Twitter where he was basically like, the scripted plays are always going to look good. Right. And once you get outside of scripted plays, if you're not good, it's because you can't read a defense. And that's something that he was told or read or something somewhere. So that kind of lends to, like, a lot of what Fields looks fantastic with the scripted plays, right?
Right.
Once he gets outside of it, it's not as good. But this was better. I mean, he was a lot better. And, like, okay, so we want to talk about Fields growing as a player. It's year 3 or whatever. And, if you want to say, no, not every quarterback's going to blossom as fast as you want him to, then you got to give the same kind of shit to Luke Getsy as a play caller. Yes, he's been in offenses before. Yes, he's been in the NFL, but this is his first time calling plays. And if you're going to give Justin enough rope to hang himself with, then give Getsy the same amount of freedom. We are way too microwave society and need these instant results like right now. And it's just, I don't know.
And it is kind of crazy just that you bring up that point and, like, you see how the season went. It's like at the end of the day, we kind of reached the goal that most of us set out for this team, but it was just like so rocky getting there. Like after you start 0-5 or whatever it was, and then you work your way back up, everyone wants the results now, but sometimes you have to wait and see what happens. You got to give these guys a chance to develop a little bit. So,
well, let me throw this in your ear with this kind of progression. We've sat here and bitched about many weeks a historic fourth quarter collapse here, there, and another. There have been 3 this year.
3 times, yep.
3 historic fourth quarter collapses. All right. Well, that aside, you're sitting at 7-9 here, and you're about to go into Lambeau. Huge week. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, like, let's say, just hypothetically, that the math doesn't go into some weird anomaly, historic fourth quarter comeback, and you win those 3 games. You're sitting at 10-6, playing Green Bay this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Looking for 11-6. Look, goodness gracious. The 3 of us would be doing backflips. Would be tattooing Luke Getsy's name on our head at 11-6. I mean, I would be. So Yeah, the frustration through this season, like the emotional roller coaster this season has been crazy because I'll just speak for myself at the very beginning of the year, like apathetic, dead as a doornail, wanted to kill everybody in the front office, fire everybody, and like, am I excited that Getsy and Flus probably are going to come back at this point? Not really, but I've seen signs over the last couple of weeks. To your point on growth, Luke, you got a first year head coach. Chris is saying the same thing. You got a first time offensive coordinator. Like, there's a lot of new parts, and it seems like you're seeing signs of, these guys are starting to figure some things out. I think it's going to be an exciting prospect. We'll get into that part as well, and with all the assets and all possibilities of this offseason. So, like, yeah, was it great the first 7-8 weeks? Not really. And yeah, I did think that it was not ever going to get better. But you are seeing signs of growth. And while it seems like it's a little too late this year, there's a lot of excitement there. I'm budding. I'm starting to sense some excitement for the next 6-7 months.
Right. And to add that to Joe, I know a lot of people can point to the teams we played and be like, all right, well, the schedule wasn't very good and the teams we beat weren't very good. I mean, when I was just thinking about this more, I was like, all right, well, we went in there and we beat the Lions up for a good 7 out of 8 quarters there. And they just, went toe to toe at Dallas, which is a potential playoff rematch in the making. You played the Browns well all game, and they've been putting up 400-yard passing games on every team and dropping bombs on every team they've been playing. So you did a good job versus them. I mean, you couldn't pull out a few games at the end, but I don't know. A lot of you beat the Cardinals, and the Cardinals stink. Well, they just went into Philly and won. So, I don't know. Maybe some of these wins aren't as, I guess, cheap as people think. And I do think there is a lot of signs of growth and positive things to look forward to there, Joe Gaither.
Well, do you want to talk about the positive things to look forward to, or do you want to talk about the Packers? Or do you want to talk about something else instead, Chris Krogman?
I think we got to dive into this Fields discussion after.
I would like to talk about why Dan Campbell didn't kick the goddamn field goal after that shit show. Why don't you just take the extra point, bro? So yeah, you can get in, Justin.
So, I mean, this was a fascinating question when I was asked multiple weeks ago, but we were like, what can Justin Fields, the offense, the coaching staff do to save themselves down the stretch? Fields has been much of the same, but again, the highs are really high. Obviously, this week was a good one, so everyone's high on him again. The lows are kind of low, but I think there is progress in some areas with his passing game. So there is a little to look forward to. You now have the top pick in the draft because the Panthers lost. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I've been teetering on the, do you want draft picks? Do you want the quarterback? Do you build around Justin? Do you get up what are you doing, with that pick, Chris? And I don't know. Where do you stand right now on that? I know before we were all kind of like, we're going to take a quarterback, but now are you more open to trading back, perhaps?
I mean, I'm open to it. It just I don't know, man.
Today, you think you would still take the quarterback and trade Justin?
It really depends on what I can get for Justin. And it's going to depend on what he wants contract-wise. If his agent already has an idea of what.
So, I'm pretty sure his agent is the same guy that represents Deshaun. And he is a greedy bastard.
David Mugletta.
You look at the contract Deshaun got. That guy will get every penny he possibly can. So,
yeah.
You're not going to get a discount on Justin from that fact alone.
You don't need a discount from Justin. You don't need to pay him. You still have him on the hook. That's for 2 years.
Well, I wanted to finish hearing what Chris had to say. So, you said what the it depends what they pay him. But if you go into that knowing his agent is probably going to demand, pretty decent chunk of change, how you going about this today? Even if you don't have to pay him today, that could factor in your decision whether you want to move forward with him or not.
That's true.
Yeah, it really then the trade value becomes more top of mind. Yeah, I mean, and the trade value for number one comes top of mind, and how far back you have to move, and do you move out of the Marvin Harrison Jr. conversation? And if you do, are you fine with whatever you're looking at? I mean, we're all hyping up wide receiver. Maybe they don't even want to take wide receiver, but I can't imagine they won't.
See, that's where I'm at, Chris. Like, I do think that if it was up to me, like you said, you got to weigh everything. I have been leaning towards drafting a new quarterback for a long time now. But for me, I think the trade back that can convince me is a trade where I'm still guaranteed Marvin Harrison Jr. And you're hypothetically hoping you can get a first plus him. That's what I would be going for. But like, I don't know, man. If they trade out of that top pick and like you get like 3 first rounders in future years, but you're closer to 8, 9, 10, I think I'll be kind of pissed.
You mean if you drop back that far?
Yeah. Like if you're building this around Justin Fields, right? And you really want, like, you're going to take, I think we could all probably agree Marvin Harrison is probably the closest thing to generational in this class or even the last class that we'll see. Like, I don't see a world where he's bad. And I mean, I know anything's possible, but to me, if you're building this around Justin, then all right, just get him the best damn player you can get on a cheap deal.
Yeah.
But like, if you're not, okay, fine. Because people are like, well, you could trade the pick for a haul and then draft Neighbors or O'Doones. And my argument to that is you could draft a quarterback and also get one of them guys.
Right.
But they're not Marvin Harrison. So for me, that's kind of where I fall on this whole thing. If you keep Justin, trade back, but make sure you get yourself a Marvin Harrison. I don't know. I think they could get really greedy with it, and that's what scares me.
Well, that's what's crazy. So, like, let's just say, hypothetically, I mean, the Patriots are at 3. The Cardinals are at 4. I don't think the Cardinals are moving on from Kyler Murray. I think they also want Marvin Harrison Jr. The wild card is going to be Washington. So if the Patriots jump over Washington to get to Caleb or Drake, whatever they want, is Washington comfortable enough with Sam Howell to take Marvin Harrison Jr.? I don't know, man. A lot of them fans think so.
Their fans are fucking idiots.
Our fans are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
All fans are fucking idiots.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're not Sam Howell or Caleb Williams. That's a different.
Well, he's saying if they can't get Caleb Williams, would they sit there and take Jaden Daniels or Drake May or whoever they want? Or do they just want? I don't know. I think Washington is basically forced to take a quarterback though, Chris. They almost feel like the Texans last year. I didn't believe like they were always going to take a quarterback. It kind of feels the same for Washington, to me at least.
I don't know, man. Howell's put up some numbers, a lot of sack numbers, but he's also thrown.
I'm just thinking
4,000
I'm just
yards.
thinking new ownership. They'll probably get a new coach, and part of that deal is the coach will get to pick a quarter. Like, it just seems like it's all lining up for that to happen. And that's the thing. You can really get Washington in a stranglehold where even if they are 2 or 3, you're like, all right, New England's offering me this. We know Caleb is a DC guy, and bringing him home would give you guys the the biggest splash since RG3. What do you might get it a first and more for moving back a freaking spot for them to get Caleb. And that would, that's kind of my ideal situation now. Is it likely? I don't know, but we saw what happened with Carolina. Teams get desperate. So
yeah, but that's 9, dude. That's a big drop, or 10.
I know, but then you also got to think, hey, maybe if you do drop to 2 with Washington, you could pull off what you did last year and say, hey, New England, we're moving back further and just go back another spot for whatever they'll give you. I don't know. I'm just saying, I think it's possible just from the way people are talking about this quarterback class, Chris. I don't know if you guys read the article today that Jeremy Fowler put out, but he said even the Bears staying in the top 5 picks could net them a larger haul than what they got last year, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah, it's definitely, staying top 5 and getting the equivalent of 3 firsts, essentially, I would say DJ Moore is probably worth the first.
Yeah, for
especially,
sure.
Especially now. I mean, especially after we saw what he could do.
Now, Joe, I guess my question for you is, if you're getting that much potentially for that first overall pick, are we missing something with these quarterbacks that we should be seeing if they're worth that much to move up, a few spots for? / what do you make of this class? What are you doing here in the Bears situation?
Well, I mean, I do think they're good. They're talented players. I mean, Caleb Williams, you've talked about it. You've seen it, Luke, with his throwing motion. It is very, very good. And his arm strength is very, very good. I think that what you're experiencing right now with this draft talk, this kind of movement talk and needs talk is more so on the Patriots / Washington / oh gosh, who else would be up there? Not really Arizona, but these teams are desperate. Like basically in the NFL, unless you're the 49ers, you're not competing without a quarterback. And so I think that teams see quarterbacks as a quick way to make themselves competitive again. And I think that teams get real desperate, and that's what's driving these prices. I mean, last year, I know you didn't love Bryce Young, but Bryce was seen as, a nice prospect. Same with CJ. So, I mean, you basically needed both players to drive the price up, and you're going to get the same sort of thing because of Williams and because of May.
I would even argue Jaden Daniels. From everything I've been hearing, he's shooting up draft boards already, and it's only going to go higher as the draft gets closer. So you have a potential top 3 that people could choose from staying in there.
Yeah, I'm firmly in the trade back camp. And I know you guys have been in we only need to trade back if we can get Marvin Harrison. I'm in the trade back camp and take as much assets as you. If you can trade back with New England at 3 and Washington at 4, like you just keep on moving back and say this team still needs, I feel like, a lot. But I do think that that you're setting yourself up for a long-term. We're going to be competitive for 8 to 10 years because we're continually adding more assets and adding more. Like, yeah, do you want Marvin Harrison? Yes, the 3 of us are unanimous that.
Well, all right, Marvin, I guess, Joe, I know what you're saying, but this is kind of how I thought about it, and it put it in perspective for me. I was just thinking, so you remember the Jamar Chase year? Was like Jamar Chase, you knew he was going to be good. You drop him in that Bengals offense, and you knew it was going to be good. It was like, well, the consolation price is Jalen Waddle. He's a pretty good player. But to my point, this is to me is the same. Like you have a chance to just drop that superstar right in your offense. You don't think that alone is worth not trying to get more and more and more on top of it?
No, because of the difference is the Bears. My entire life have been awful building through the draft.
So you want to get more picks and watch them build through the draft?
Well, when Poles came here and arrived, he said, "I'm going to build the draft. It's going to be a long term." Just from a philosophical standpoint, I think that's the best way for long term success. Now you've seen the Patriots suck at drafting over the last handful of years, but for a while they were lights out. Like draft well, retain the right assets, send off the old guys. Sorry, Eddie Jackson, you're gone. Like. I think that's the path to long-term sustained success. Maybe Marvin gets you there. And the Bears are top offense for 5 years. Great. And if that's the case, awesome. I'm not really going to be upset if we end up with Marvin Harrison and we don't keep moving back. I just think you have a chance to really like a lot depends on the draft board and what people take around you. But I think you have a real opportunity right here to. Bears are picking at 10, 11, right in there with their own pick. So I think you have a real opportunity to add a lot of quality people. You could end up with 3 first-round draft picks in this class. And this class, you hit on it earlier. How much would you like to see a premier defensive lineman?
Well, you have your own. You do have your own pick for that too. That's why I'm just sure. I don't know. I think if you can pretty much guarantee that he's a superstar, you just do it. I don't know. I feel like
can't you say the same thing for Caleb though?
Mm-hmm.
I think you can, but I think like a guy I'm saying, yeah, you can, and that's where I'm at. But I think there is
Lucas,
definitely more.
You've been
I think
saying,
there'll be more questions about his work ethic, how he treats teammates, that kind of stuff that everyone else is bringing up. And I think the positional difference will make a difference in it too. Because I feel like quarterbacks are way harder to project.
I mean, you said this guy was Jesus since he was like a junior high kid. That's
he's legit.
And if you ask me who I could probably guarantee would have a better career, I'd definitely say Marvin Harrison.
I mean, that's tough, man. There's so many variables for a wide receiver.
I don't know. He just seems like one of those guys like Julio Jones or Calvin Johnson. Like he's coming in the league, this guy's going to be fucking good. Like there was never.
With Julio, he's going to have like 1,800 yards a year and 1 touchdown.
Oh, yeah. DJ Moore is going to catch all the touchdowns.
Worst freaking fantasy football wide receiver ever.
But I guess, Joe, my overall point more so than about just Marvin Harrison is that if you're rolling with Fields' plan, aka give him the most possible help so he can't suck.
Do you think? Just throwing this right back at you. Do you think Marvin Harrison is more help than Rome Odunze and Brock Bowers?
Yeah, I just think Marvin Harrison is going to be like Pro Bowler his first year.
Yeah, probably. But like legitimately, you could probably have 2 Pro Bowlers in their first year.
Yeah, or you could do Marvin Harrison and Brock Bowers.
I think that's what makes me so excited about this offseason is and maybe this is just my damn blue and orange glasses, just holding on with Fields, build around him, give him a daggum center. You keep adding to him like y'all were alluding to. Like when he's on, the on is amazing, and so maybe I'm foolishly believing in the on. I think that you gotta add to this offense. Use this number 1 overall pick as wisely as you can. I think you got to leverage it for as much as you can, and maybe the value is 10 years of Marvin Harrison. And if that's the case, then bear down.
The other interesting thing is the players are goo goo gaga for Justin, right? I mean,
exactly.
You're gonna have, if you do bring in a rookie QB, he has to win the locker room over. He has to form chemistry with his wide receivers, and he's a rookie, and he's got to endear the fan base to himself. All of those things are tough. Now, I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to be Ryan Poles. I don't think this is an easy decision. I think there's value in both directions. Like at some point, you can't keep being the Oklahoma City Thunder and trade back for 27 years. Why not? Because you got to take blue chippers eventually.
You can't. Trading back is great to set yourself up for an opportunity like this. Like,
can you imagine if they trade back and like whoever they trade with back is a top 5 pick again next year, and they have like another top 5 pick.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
oh my god, hilarious!
Right, you could wield this for power for years if you do something like that.
Yeah, man. But if you get the quarterback wrong, it doesn't matter.
Well, do we have the quarterback wrong, Chris Krogman?
I'm not convinced yet, dude. Sorry.
I'm not convinced either. I'm with you, Chris.
There's nothing more that I would rather see than Justin continue to ascend. But I don't know, man. Like, would you say, Joe, like 2 years from now, we draft that kid that's coming out of junior high or some shit like that's supposed to be the Jesus? I mean, you could do that too. I mean, you could sign Fields to the 5th year.
Arch Manning is coming soon.
Huh?
Arch Manning is coming soon.
Shoot, he'll be a sophomore, right?
He's going into his sophomore year. He's got 2 more years of eligibility.
And I don't know. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, you could keep stringing Fields along with franchise tags as well. I mean, or you could do the Daniel Jones kind of half-ass contract, give him like a 2 to 4 year deal or whatever. But I don't know. If you pass on Caleb and he's special, you'll never live it down. You will get fired. I don't care if Marvin Harrison Jr. is awesome. If Justin Fields is not great and you could have had Caleb Williams and he's phenomenal, you lost your job.
Is it different this year, though, with Stroud?
Yes. Because nobody thought he could be special. Like, everybody thinks Caleb can be special. Like, it's like
I see what you're saying.
all over the place, right? I mean, everybody thought Bryce was the probably better of the two quarterbacks at the time.
See, that's what I don't get. Like, some people like to backtrack and say, oh, we thought last year's class was special, too. I don't remember anyone saying those quarterbacks last year were going to be that good. I remember everyone was like, well, Bryce Young is all right. He's not tall enough. TJ Stroud could be better. We don't really know how to project him in the pros, though. It was like Anthony Richardson's an uber athlete. That was it. It wasn't like, oh, this guy's going to save your franchise type.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how QBs move so much in a matter of, from the end of their college season to draft day. Like, it's just wild how much projection there is, how much, and either maybe all the draft nicks are wrong, and the NFL knew the entire time, right? And they're just like, no, CJ's just as good as Bryce, if not better, or whatever, But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to be Ryan Poles. I'm glad I'm not, but I'm gonna hold his feet to the fire if he fucks it up.
Oh, totally. And I mean, I don't know. Like, if Justin comes back next year and he stinks, everyone's going to be on his case.
Lucas, let's talk about the Courtney Cronin video today, because that plays into this pretty big.
Courtney.
Yeah, so I was listening to ESPN Chicago on YouTube, Justin Fields conundrum with Courtney Cronin and Pat the designer. And Courtney dropped the bombshell that she said Poles technically isn't on his first coach. The final say of hiring Eberflus was from McCaskey and Ted Phillips. Basically insinuating that Ryan Poles didn't have the final say over this like we were told.
They lied?
I don't know, Joe, did they?
The Bears lied?
Ted Phillips lied to me?
Oh, man. No, I mean, so what does it mean for Poles? I mean, for Poles, it makes me think that he's automatically safe then. And maybe does it give me any hope of turning over Flus? Like, I don't know what I want right now, Luke, because you've got this little momentum that you built. I still can't erase the absolute ass of a team that was put on the field the first 4 weeks. But you do have this nice little momentum being built. So, like, what's the significance? Do we think that Flus is in a win and he comes back against Green Bay, lose and he's gone scenario this week? Like, what are we with Poles and his decision and how it affects Matt Eberflus?
It's a good question because I don't know what to believe anymore. I would say this is the biggest report we've had from someone close to the Bears on this matter, kind of actually saying this. So it's interesting. But Joe, I kind of agree with you. There's too much momentum building toward the end of the season, too many wins happening. The defense has been performing at basically a top 10 rate according to every metric. 16 picks in the last 6 games. Like, they're just playing some good ball. And as Chris said a few weeks ago, the guys haven't quit on him. They quote him in the locker room. They talk about him highly. I don't know. I don't know if you drop a nuke in this. Joe, my answer to that is I think that's only possible. I think a possibility of where they would fire Flus is if someone like Jim Harbaugh was like, they knew he wanted the Bears job and that basically had it in the bag. but I don't think they would just fire Flus to go through this interview process again.
Chris, what do you make of the Ryan Poles didn't get to choose Matt Eberflus, and where do you stand with him?
I mean, what's to say they're going to let him now? You know, what's to say that if George McCasty is doing what he always does and gets in the way, then who's to say he's not just going to say, "Oh, you need to keep this guy. He's got some momentum going." I've made my point. I think Eberflus is back next year. The only way that changes is if if Kevin Warren says otherwise. And I mean, so like, I don't understand. I don't understand people who don't want continuity, or think that Eberflus is so bad that retaining him and letting him continue to grow as a coach and let Getsy continue to grow as a coach, along with Fields continuing to grow. All these dudes out here want to fucking blow it up, fire Getsy. They're okay with keeping Flus because the defense looks good. But to Luke's point, Phil Snows was hired right when the defense started to look better. They added Montez Sweat. I mean, who's to say that the pieces that Poles has added to this team aren't what making them better, and that it has nothing to do with Matt Eberflus.
Right.
But firing Getsy if you're keeping Fields is stupid to me. That's
you can't make him learn a new offense.
No, not again. I mean, not going into this you fucked yourself, because now you're putting another variable into we could have had X QB, but we decided to keep Justin, build around him, but we're going to give him his third coordinator in 4 years. There's no way. There's no way. I don't see it happening.
I think, Chris, you kind of agreed with me. So, Luke Getsy is not a bad OC. It's just the weird fit with him and Fields. It is very, bizarre. But, some of the
I'm still not sold that Eberflus doesn't have something to do with it. The conservative nature of where Eberflus comes from.
I'm sure
it's not even that. I would say even in this Falcons game, they dialed up more downfield. They basically played to Fields' strengths. They ran with him outside and they dialed up downfield plays. They didn't try and do this quick game with Fields that he's not good at. They did what he was good at all game, and he had a great game. Is kind of my point. But Luke Getsy's mix and matching of that is very bizarre to me.
Yeah, I just don't understand how Luke Getsy can't just watch Lamar Jackson and just do some of that. Just do some of the quarterback runs that Fields has are weird. I mean, the best runs he has that go for long distances are scramble plays. Yeah.
Also, what the hell was Luke Getsy why were they throwing the ball with 2 minutes left? Did you guys see that play at the end of the game?
Because Justin Fields only had so many reps in college. He needs to continue to get these reps.
Dude, he almost got killed and threw a pick.
Well, he almost gets himself killed a lot. So, I figure they are hey, you're fine with it. We're fine with it.
Keep the guy out of his own way. I don't know if they're trying to make a statement oh, we're going for 40. It was just, dude.
I don't know.
Weird.
I don't know. They scored 37 points, which was crazy.
Insane. Yeah,
how many field goals did Cairo kick, though? He kicked
3.
6.
He made 2. The one I knew he wasn't going to make, the one that was almost returned, it was 55 yards into the freaking wind. And I feel like they didn't do anything to advance the ball either. That was a weird sequence of plays, too. It's they were playing for the 55-yard field goal. Some of the shit they do is so weird, man. I can't even explain it.
It's because the Bears still suck. Just kidding. This is before the 2-minute warning. Play action pass. Hold. And bam, crunch. Yeah. I'm watching that over again.
Where they threw the ball, right?
Yeah. Right before the play, right before the 2-minute warning.
What was the score at that point? It was 37-17, wasn't it? Yeah. What were you freaking doing, you idiot?
That was second and medium. Now it's 3rd and 25, and they just handed it off and punted it back.
You saw that though. He got crushed.
Yeah. He should have like literally just hand it off instead and get to the 2-minute warning. You're up 20 points.
Yeah, some of the shit they do is weird, but overall, killed the Falcons. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they would fire Eberflus if he got his ass kicked by the Packers. I don't know.
That's
This
my
is
thing.
This is a big game for Flus and Fields, to be honest.
that's
like,
my
to
view.
beat this stupid team.
I think this is massive. I think this is and let's spin back. The three of us. 18 weeks ago, we're about to go into a Packers game, and Luke and I were about to barf all over this podcast because we were so sick to our stomachs over the preseason just hoopla and bullshit. But at this point, Luke, I'm fired the fuck up. I'm fired up to go beat the Packers. I'm fired up. I think they can beat the Packers. They played the worst game plan of their lives in week number 1, and they didn't even look like they even tried. But like to your point, Luke, this is like I wonder if this whole decision that we're talking about, bring Fields back, bring Flus back, leave Pulser on. I wonder how much of it hinges on this weekend in Green Bay. And like, if we were a legitimate, real franchise, it wouldn't hinge on this weekend. But George McCaskey is a bigger fan than I am, and so it's like I feel good about beating the Falcons. I feel good about beating the Lions and the Vikings over the last couple of weeks, and winning our last 5 home games. But part of me thinks like, oh, you beat the Packers, you keep their asses out of the playoffs, and we hold it over them all season long. Then you turn that number 1 overall pick into millions of assets, and we come out and take the North next year. Blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm feeling right now, Luke. Is all that doable? And like, or does this game really matter for Flus and Fields?
So before we go further into this game and what we think is going to happen, I do want to ask you both. I would say the similarities between the Bears this year and the Lions last year are pretty similar to me. I think the Lions started out last year. I think they started out with the same record, actually, like 0-5 or 1-5 or something like that. And they finished strong. And lo and behold, they beat the Packers the last week to knock them out of the playoffs to finish at 8-9 or whatever they were. Do you guys think the Bears are anything close to what the Lions were last year? Or do you think this is more fluky than that?
No, I think they're close.
It's almost like the opposite sides of the ball are better. Like I think the Lions offense was better last year and the Bears defense is better this year.
Yeah, for sure. But do you think like there's that kind of momentum where you think that the Bears, if they have the right offseason, they can take off next year and actually win the North? Like the Lions this year? Like, I don't know. People at the end of last year were like, that team is going to be good next year. Like, do you feel that way about the Bears? Especially if they win this Packers game, are you going to be like, hey, this Bears team is going to be good next year?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I don't know, because I did feel like the Lions had like a higher wave, but really the similarities between us and that team, I think, are closer than people think. What do you think, Joe?
Are we going to draft ourselves a Jahmyr Gibbs and not use him? No, I'm just kidding. No, we're going to draft a premier offensive weapon in the first round and use him. I do like. You talk about, are they better? Yeah, no, they are. Even though the schedule was easy this year, easier.
The Lions' schedule has been easy too, because they've been horrible for so long.
Right, that's what I mean. You flip those 3 fourth quarter comebacks, and we're looking at a winning record, and we're beating our chests talking about playoffs. So yes, like let's be honest with ourselves, we are better. We're right on the precipice.
I like it. And we beat the crap out of that team twice this year.
We're like the opposite of the Vikings last year, who won a bunch of one-score games. We just lose them.
Yeah.
But we do it to ourselves as well.
We do it to ourselves.
The fourth quarter Fields is a problem. That is a huge
For sure.
fucking
But also,
problem.
part of me, Chris, also makes me wonder, like, I don't know. Those games always start by the defense blowing like a big lead, and then the offense runs weird plays too. So it also makes me think, like, yes, Fields has definitely not been good. Like, if he put the ball in his hands on the last drive, he's most definitely going to turn it over. But like earlier in the fourth quarter, when they get super conservative, that also like they didn't help Fields out by letting him ice the game earlier. They put it all on him at the end after they blow it.
I just
guess.
continue
So-
to keep putting the lead on him.
I guess to me, after I kind of thought about this more, I guess was more so, yeah, Fields sucks like in crunch time, but also like the Bears didn't help him at all by kind of letting themselves lose the game first.
Sure.
I don't know.
It's
To
fair.
me, it's just
Fair take.
interesting. And I think what you said earlier is fascinating, Chris, about a rookie quarterback taking over the locker room. Like if they do feel like they're close, if the rookie struggles or whatever, are they going to have his back? Is the rookie going to be strong enough to withstand, the heat he's going to get, et cetera, et cetera? I think Josh Lucas said something pretty fascinating. He said, if Fields does remain the Bears quarterback, one of the main things they're going to fall back on is like his mentality. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, it's pretty true that, you're not going to get that guy down. He's going to keep working no matter what. And, he's always going to be a great locker room guy and team guy. So I don't know, something to be said for that. And I thought it was just interesting.
Yep. Yeah, he does not let football define him as a person.
No,
Which those types of people, those types of players have a leg up because they don't let it get to them like everything. It's a job, dude. It's a job. You know what I mean? Yeah, it might be a little bit more in the limelight, but like at the end of the day, it's a job.
Are you afraid to hit?
I'm
So
not
Joe-
afraid to hit it.
Joe Gaither, do you have the spreads up for us for this Packers game? What do you think's going to happen?
Ooh, let's find out I was looking at that earlier, but I
Is
closed.
Jordan Love the truth?
Oh, I think he's
Dude.
kind of good.
This Packers friend of mine, or coworker, I should say, he's not a friend, son of a bitch, sent me this thing today, and it says,
All-time leading passer.
yeah, Jordan Love passing yards this year, 3,843 and 30 passing touchdown. Best season ever by a Bears quarterback, 3,838 yards and 29 passing touchdown.
Yep.
Not good.
I think we might be in for the third round of good Packers quarterback, but the team isn't amazing. Let's see, Luke. The Packers are a 3-point favorite, and the over/under is 4.5. The game is at 3:25. Our man Tony
You ever under what?
44.5.
Ah,
The matchup predictor has 57% Packers. But fuck that. It's going to be Bears 100, Packers 0.
what is the spread?
3
even.
even. The Packers are minus 170 on the money line.
I think the Bears are winning this game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm feeling good. I think they have a ton of momentum. I don't know. I just think the defense is peaking at the right time, and I do think, you can rattle Jordan Love. I think they can get to him. I think Jordan Love has been very solid. I think he's good, not great. He'll still make those errant throws. You can get him to turn the ball over. So, I don't know. I'm feeling – I really do think the Bears are going to win this one, and I think the offense is going to finish on a strong note as well. This Packers defense has been pretty horrible outside of playing a wounded Vikings team who was starting a quarterback I never even heard of.
Jaron Hall bullshit like that. No, Justin Fields is going to go off for over 300 yards in this game passing. He's going to end this year with a 300-yard passing game. I know he was only at 268 against the Falcons, but we will go 303 against the Packers. And we will also rush for 43 yards in scramble.
I feel like Fields is always good for a long rushing touchdown versus the Packers. Feels like he always has one really nice run versus them. What are you thinking, Chris? Are you as confident as Joe and I? Are we overly confident?
Bring me back.
I don't know. It just feels so right.
I mean, if I I didn't bet on this game. I bet a decent amount on for me anyway, on the Bears to beat the Falcons by 2.5 because that spread sucked. That was way too low. I mean, I'd take the points if I was going to bet on it, take the 3. But I think this is probably going to be. Man, the biggest problem. I think it's going to go. I think it's going to go over 44.5, mainly because I think Joe Barry's defense sucks, and I think even as good as the Bears' defense has been, it's not Jordan Love, man. LaFleur is a good coach, and he gets his guys wide the fuck open, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So,
be a good test for a secondary. They've been playing well, so hopefully they can.
Well, Jaden Reed got hurt, right, in that last game? Didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Do something, get hurt, and they don't have their first tight end that they took. They're down to Robert Kraft.
Macaroni and cheese.
Is Christian Watson playing, or is he done for the year?
I bet she's going to play because we need to remind everybody the Packers are in a pretty desperate scenario. If the Packers win, they are in the playoffs. If they lose, they are out. So I bet you they're going to be guns blazing.
I haven't seen a Bears game in a while where they've, had a good game blocking the Packers D-line, so that would be nice for once to protect the quarterback. I mean, the offensive line also is another position that's kind of peaking at the right time, but, if there was a game for them to collapse, it would definitely be this week, which I hope is not true.
This will be a heck of a game for the interior linebackers to get.
I would say another reason I'm so confident, though, too, is just because I feel like the way the Packers always get us is that they always gash us running the ball, and I feel like the Bears can finally shut down their 2 backs, which then affects the rest of their game if you put them in obvious passing situations.
Yeah, for sure.
Is Aaron Jones even healthy?
He's been pretty good the past few weeks, but yeah, we need to stop that motherfucker because he kills us every time.
Every time.
But our linebackers playing very well, so hopefully, they can put an end to that. We'll see, though. I do think there's just this huge wave of momentum going for the Bears. Just, I don't know. That locker room should be confident heading into this week, which we love.
That's the only thing, Luke, that makes me just because I'm always waiting on the other shoe to drop. I wrote down several scores over here, but and I like them, but I'm waiting on the other shoe to drop.
Hey, man, confidence is a dangerous drug. I mean, if the Bears were, possibly playing for a playoff spot, I bet my bottom dollar that Dallas would not be thrilled if they had to play the Bears in round 1.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say the Bears are arguably the hottest team in football heading into this week. One of them.
Yeah. All right, I wrote down 31-24, and I think that's what I'm going to settle for the Bears. 31-24. That puts us over at 55, and I think that's what I'm feeling. And I do stick with the numbers that I gave for Fields. We're not being silly. I do think about. I mean, it'd be a hell of a game. 303 and 45 yards rushing. Give him 3 total touchdowns out of the. We didn't really even talk about Khalil Herbert and Roschon having good games. I think they've made a good little pair. Khalil looks nice now. Now that he's gotten more healthy.
He was so obviously
healthy.
Before, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, big time.
So that's what I'm going with. 31-24. Fields having a nice day, and Bears, we go into the offseason feeling ourselves.
What do you think, Chris?
Feeling ourselves. So I was just looking at the weather because I was curious.
Yeah, key. Good point.
What happened? It's not terrible. It's 36 high, 24 low, only 15% chance of precipitation, only a 7-mile-an-hour wind. So nothing too bad. Final score. Dude. We're going to fucking lose this game. 28-24 Packers.
No.
He's not crazy. That's not bad.
You're crazy.
Dude, it's what's going to happen is
You're
we'll be up
absolutely
24-21. We'll be up 24-21. Jordan Love will just fucking kick us in the dick.
On 4th and 17, probably.
Yeah, as
Probably.
he's stumbling down, throws a left-handed pass over his head.
And then he'll talk about how he had to get a cortisone shot at halftime. And it was my knee. My knee was banged up. Dicks.
So you banged up knee. I'll fucking cut your knee off.
That's horrible. That's the official report from Joe Gaither.
Cut you.
Instead of biting kneecaps, Joe's slogan is "cut your knees off."
Do you think the McCaskies would cover my legal defense?
No. Do you think the McCaskies would pour beer on a Packers fan?
No. That's great.
All right, my score prediction for this game is going to be, I want to say 27-21 Bears.
Nice.
27-21 Burrs.
Happy Father's Day to all the Bears fans out there.
Blow, pack, blow.
How different is it going to be now that Aaron Rodgers is somewhere else?
So much.
I wish he played one more year. With
No,
Green
we
Bay,
don't.
Honestly, we went up there and we played a pretty good game, you know. But they got away from us at the end, obviously, and they won. But their fans are really shitty. So
The funny
They
thing
are.
is that, like,
About to
my
all
understanding is that is the farthest thing from the truth. That Green Bay fans are the nicest, most welcoming people at Lambeau.
What? No,
Oh,
they're a piece of
Green
shit.
Bay sucks.
All of rotten to the core.
You hear them yelling at their own
Green
team?
Bay sucks. Green Bay sucks.
They're evil people.
You just called Braggs a fucking Packers fan. That's
They're
How was
just
that?
disgusting humans. All of them
whatever.
All right, Joe,
deserve to be
Oh,
ostracized to Sweden.
sing us home, Joe.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. Make every play clear the way to victory. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Put up a fight with the might so fearlessly. We'll never forget the way you thrilled the nation with your T formation. Bear down, Chicago Bears. And let them know while you're wearing the crown. You're the pride and joy of Illinois, Chicago Bears. Bear down. Fuck the Packers.